Let justice and justice reign. We chant peacefully, Martin Luther. We chant Ferguson, we chant violently, we say we violent. New York, we chant peacefully, the same result. We chant the right way, same result. We chant the wrong way, the same result. What the hell do you think we are? Who the hell do you think we are? We are black people. Mr. President, you are guilty of the largest shooter in Florida. Don't be like your protocol here. Why do you give people the opportunity to do the wrong thing? Then the destruction of God that will fall on them. The church, I want to get to you, Mr. Church. I've never seen in my life so many rainbow flags flying over your church. Never. Nothing else God make a commandment and said this is a promise that I will never destroy you guys again. You did not raise the rainbow then, but you raised it when they kill some gay people. Don't get me wrong. I am not in agreement for them to kill those gays. Because life is a life. You cannot kill a man because you don't agree with what he wants to live. Some of these cops, they can't even talk to their own child at home. Their child disrespect them. They can't speak to their own wife. They disrespect them. But they come onto the street and say, blood brother, I want to take out your wife problem, your child problem, and the blood brother. Come on, we're not on target. We are children of the Most High God. And America, this is a cancer. It was stage 1. It's stage 2. It's stage 3. We lose 7 lives. 3 law enforcement. Why, America? Why? Look in the mirror. America, if you don't stop this right now, you're going to have a war. I know you have war in the Middle East. You don't see war yet, America, because you're going to have a war within your own country. We don't want to go back like in the 18s. We don't want to go back like in the 60s. Because you know what? You give everybody the right to own arms. So everybody's going to die by the gun. Stop it, America. Stop it. Life is life. Life is murder. Stop it. Stop it. America, we are guilty of those 5 policemen, not the sniper. America, you're guilty of that young man get gunned down in his car in front of his lady. You ruined their life. My friend died in front of me a couple years ago. You don't want to happen. You ruined their life. And I said that you're a pig to kill a man in front of a little baby. Who the hell you think you are? Peace.
Real quick, before we bring up the next person, I want to remind you all, this rally is not the end. We have individuals who are in the crowd right now with clipboards.
Can you hold your hands up, clipboard people?
Clipboards,
everybody with clipboards. There's Miguel right here. Hold up hands with clipboards, okay? My clipboard people.
Go ahead and give them your contact information, your email, phone number, name. We're going to reach out to you as soon as we decide when we're going to have this large community forum. What I told about earlier, getting all the experts in one room, figuring out what we can do, figuring out how we can set up communities and get everybody that wants to be involved. Let's time for some action, people.
So this is not the beginning of the end, is what we're trying to say, okay? And we can't make this happen without you. It's about the people, and the people is the ones who are going to bring about change. That's right. So what we're going to do is we want to get your input. We're going to have a larger meeting. We're going to build a coalition across the board of community people and organizations, and we're going to start sitting down and making demands, right? We want demands, people, right? Together we are stronger. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
We have the city councilor for Ward 2 in Holyoke, Mass, Nelson Ramon.
Nelson Ramon.
How's everybody doing today? I want to begin really quick by just saying this quote from Dr. King. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. I'm here today to say to all of you how important Black Lives Matters are. From the city of Holyoke to the city and town of Amherst to right here in Springfield, there are very few of those who have been elected by you, the people, who have come today in this time of challenge to be with you. I want to acknowledge those individuals first and then share a few thoughts that I've had that I shared yesterday in the city of Holyoke when we did the same rally. We want to acknowledge that State Senator Ben Swan Sr. was here today. He did leave. I'm not sure if he's around. Please give a round of applause for State Senator Ben Swan Sr. We had a representative from Mayor Dominic Sordo's office here today. A round of applause for the mayor. We have our Ward 1 City Councilor, my boy Adam Gomez, is here to speak on the line. And she's going to speak after me, but we have school committee woman from Amherst, Vera Page, who's here, ladies and gentlemen. Give a round of applause. I'm here today to share a few words, though. How much more blood must be shed in order for us to truly address the targeted and systematic oppression of Black America? Right. The most recent events have added up to nothing but a clear and acute pattern of no less than a modern-day lynching for our Black men and trans women in this country. I am here today as a proud, gay, Puerto Rican, Latinx, Afro-Caribbean man to say that I am here in support of my Black community. I am here for those who are seeking justice for themselves and their kindred. Today is the day and now is the time that all Latinxes speak up in support of justice. We must deal with racism in America, as it not only impacts our Black brethren, but it also impacts Afro-Latinxes every day. In some aspects, we are no further along today than we were during the Civil Rights Movement. I'm going to say that again. In some aspects today, we are no further along than we were during the Civil Rights Movement. The whole purpose of the movement was to achieve equality to those rights that included equal opportunities in housing, education, voting rights, and equal access to public facilities. Do we have that today? No. Do we have that today? No. I came across this post the other day on Facebook and it touched me and I wept and I cried. You cannot buy Skittles. You cannot wear a hoodie. You cannot sell cigarettes. You cannot play music in your car with your friends and revel in the culture that you have created. You cannot play with fake guns. You cannot sell CDs. You cannot ask an officer, why am I being pulled over? You cannot ask for help after a car accident. You cannot walk down the street to your best friends a week shy of graduating college. You cannot go to your own bachelor party. You cannot pray in church. You cannot sleep on abuelita's couch. You cannot put your hands up. You cannot breathe. You cannot be you. You cannot be beautiful. I cannot protect you. When the hell is enough in this country? When do we actively fix a system that has reduced Black bodies to hashtags and strange fruit that has callously been tossed away and deemed unworthy? Our fate, mi gente, nuestra comunidad Latino Boricuas. We are inseparably connected. Whether you are for free Oscar Lopez, the decolonization of Puerto Rico, if you are LGBT, if you are gay, trans, and proud, we are all in this together. I am filled with hope because a new civil rights movement starts today. When Black, Latino, LGBT are united to say enough is enough. Ya, unidos, united, unidos, united, unidos, united, unidos, united, unidos, united. Mi gente, without further ado, I'm going to bring up my next sister, Vera Cage, ladies and gentlemen. She's a badass as well. Mi gente.
everyone. Today, I'm not Vera Cage. Today, I am Brenda Douglas. And today, this is not 2016. Today is December 15, 2010, and my name is Brenda Douglas. This is a public hearing held before the Special Committee on Police Oversight held at the JFK Middle School, and it's 6 p.m. Good evening, and you are again, my name is Brenda Douglas. All right, Miss Douglas. Okay, I spoke before. My name is Brenda Douglas, and I have come out because on October 10th, 2008, my son, Lenny Brown, was arrested by the Springfield police, and within 2 hours, he was dead. I see a lot of children in this community. I see a lot of children out here. You remember the name Lenny Brown, and you find out what happened to Lenny Brown, because his mother is still asking questions. What happened to my son? Thank you very much.
The next person I'm going to introduce, I want to give him props, and we need to uplift this brother. He won recently. He became the city councilor of the North End here in Springfield. And that's right, major victory. He mobilized and uplifted the community, and he is where he is because he's Adam Gomez. But I want to say that when we contacted him and asked him for his support, no questions, no doubt. All right? And how many city councilors and how many politicians do you know they do that because they worry about getting the votes, right? Well, he don't care about the votes. What he cares about is the people. Here I am. I want to introduce Adam Gomez.
Wow. Citizens of this great region, Western Massachusetts, citizens of Northampton, citizens of Holyoke, citizens of Chicopee, citizens of Springfield, Massachusetts. And if I forgot your town, I appreciate it, but I want to tell you how much I love you for coming to the steps of Springfield City Hall and standing in solidarity to say that Black Lives Matter. I'm overtaken with a lot of emotion. A lot of my colleagues, a lot of folks, it's hard. It's hard to understand what we're all going through. And it's hard when we're here again and again and again. But one thing, I'm just one man, but with all of you, we are enormous. We're powerful. We are blessed to be able to all gather here today in respect of the two gentlemen that lost their life. I'm also going to express my sympathies because we're a peaceful people. We're a people that use only one weapon. That weapon is love. Love is the only answer. And sometimes, because of the things that we went through, we've forgotten how to love. We've forgotten our way. But today is a definition on how a whole region can come together and love one another and in support with our other brothers and sisters in the other nations and our brothers and sisters abroad that go through this madness because of a shade of your skin. I look at all of you and I see brown. Some of you just a lot more browner than I am. Some of you guys are just a lot more lighter. My sister has green eyes, light skin. But then I have another sister, Janet, that were twins. And my brown is her black. And her black is my brown. And the most important thing is, all of us as people, we are one, because just because our oppressor spoke a different language doesn't make us different. It doesn't change the blood that comes out of our skin. I come to you, yes, I am a city council member of the city of Springfield. It's been 7 months since I've been here. It's been a tough 7 months when sometimes you don't know who to go to get the right answers. But I knew one thing is, I could just go back to where I came from. And the people there, regardless of my faults, my failures, we helped each other and we overcame. It wasn't a hard decision to make. I'm a member of Neighbor to Neighbor. I'm also your neighbor. I'm also your brother. You're also my sister and my brother. We sit here at a time that we don't really understand and know what direction we need to go to. But like I said, we come back to this point again. We need to find solutions. We need to stop agitating a lot of things that we just need to sit down and conversate about. We need to talk and understand where other people are coming from. I might not have all the answers, but you might. She might. I'm only 33 years old. I don't know how long God is going to bless me to walk in His graces and be able to talk to brothers and sisters of this magnitude. But I tell you this, every single step of the way, regardless of they don't have the answers for me inside here, I know the answer is with you all. You always stay on the side of the people no matter what. You never sell yourself short. When my family came here in the 1950s, we came here with a language barrier that nobody understood Spanish. Nobody understood how to get around. We understood that this was the American dream. And I'm here to invoke my ancestors and to say and to talk to them and say that I will not let you down, because I will not let them down. But if we don't take and understand the strength of each and everybody's vote here, we will never get nothing done. And it starts on the local level. You guys might not seem that, oh, I don't know who I'm going to elect for the next president. I know that's a tough decision, but you know what? Your neighborhood board is a good start. Your neighborhood boards in your communities is a good start to understand what's going on in your streets, because you're the ones that live there. When they come, you hold them accountable. You're community leaders, and then from there, somebody in here, one of these young people is going to be our next mayor, our next congressman, maybe our next president. They're standing right here. But if we don't empower ourselves and elect your neighborhood board, elect city council members that have the benefits of you and your family, you're speaking on deaf ears. If you don't vote, and if you're not registered to vote, we got brothers and sisters here walking around with registered voter packets. I'm not telling you to sign up to any party. All I'm telling you is this: was the most important part is that your vote counts. Your voice is your vote. And that's one thing, going back to what my grandfather instilled into my family, no matter what. He didn't know how to speak English, but I'm telling you, he made sure that every single one of his kids taught every single one of their kids, and we're 150 strong at least in one neighborhood. Imagine everyone else when we're locked up. We need to have our following. We need to drop them off. We're 10,000 strong. We're 15,000 strong. From all the way up north to all the way down south. Our voice can be heard. We can make real changes. We can do real things. For my brothers and sisters that do poetry, for my brothers and sisters that do music and rap, remember that these kids look at you as you're a God in their own way, in their own right, as a leader in their community. So your message is going to reflect what you want, but you have to reflect what needs to be heard. And what needs to be heard is the positive message that education is number one. Go out and vote. Get involved. And also, I got time, but I don't feel like I'm going to get off, but I'm going to get off. I just want to leave it at this. Please invest in your local community. Please Please invest in your kids. Those are our future. Welcome to Ward 1, City of Springfield. This march is going to get on their way. Let's do this. Let's get together. This is not the last time we're going to talk.
So, you know, we're kind of running behind, right, a little bit. But, you know, this is so important, the people's voice, right? And so we don't want to minimize that, you know, because it ain't about politics. It's about the people's voice. So we do have 3 more speakers, but let me tell you, they're powerhouse speakers. And you are going to be happy that you came today because they're going to educate, right? They're going to uplift community. I want to tell you that right after the speakers, we are going to be marching, and we're going to be yelling real loud on top of our lungs, okay? And we're going to let people know that Springfield is here. All right, so I want to introduce the next person. So this is another woman who is known nationally. Okay, this is a national profile, and anybody who's anybody with the struggle knows this lady. Okay, she's an independent journalist. She's a hip hop activist and scholar. She was the VP running mate of the 2008 Green Party presidential candidate, Cynthia McKinney, and there's some green folks, okay, that are here, right? Put your hands up, my green folks, my Green Party people, right? Together we're stronger, right? So, you know, I follow Rosa a lot, you know, to me, I admire her, she's a mentor. You know, she's a very intelligent, bright woman, but she don't stop educating herself. Right now, she's studying for her PhD at University of Massachusetts. So, you know, she's really close by. And so there's a lot of things I like about Rosa, you know, but one of the things that I like about her the most is that Rosa is a fighter. She knows the struggle, all right? So here I am, proud and privileged to introduce Rosa Alicia Clemente.
Peace, everybody. If we want peace, we must be willing to fight for it. And until we get it, we are going to shut this country down. And I have no problem saying it. Let me tell you, first and all, my message is not for white folks. My only message to white folks, get on the right side, be an accomplice, or step aside. Next, my message is not for old leadership in this country. My message is to young people. You know, so much of what people say doesn't bring us to the history of how we got here. The first police in America were founded to capture runaway slaves, and they're still chasing us in this country. Let's be very clear. Let us be very clear of the history of how African people even got here. Let us be very clear that most Africans that were taken from the continent did not end up in the United States. They ended up in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Panama, Brazil, Ecuador, Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, Belize. And then you'll understand why in cities like Springfield, Mass. I live in a similar city. It's called Albany, New York, the capital of New York State, where police tasered Dante Ivy 15 times last April, and those police are still in the same neighborhood. But yet our children are going into these schools that are preparing them to become massively incarcerated. Politicians want to tell you we got to keep funding police. No, we don't. No, we don't. You know what we need to be talking about? Disarmament, demilitarize, and you keep killing us, you're not getting our money anymore. And then they're going to tell you, how is that going to work? You can't control crime in your community? Maybe if you fund schools. Maybe if you not gentrify people, maybe people could live, maybe people could eat, maybe people had economic opportunities, maybe if the police weren't in our schools, in elementary, beating our children in schools, we could live. This mainstream media and a lot of these old, okey-doke, black and Latinx sellouts, because that's what they've done, right? Living in their gated communities, protected by police, talking about we need not to be so, our tone has to change. So when does our tone get harder? When we're on the way to a death camp? When we're back in slavery? When we're back in chains? That's when we're supposed to resist? No, we've been resisting ever since they kidnapped us, ever since they colonized us, ever since they genocidally slaughtered indigenous people in this country. And the reason I'm dropping a little bit of history before I get to the organizing part is because young people, they don't want you to know this. They want you to think that the situation you're in isn't your fault. But yet, they want you to be accountable for everything you do that's against the system. Right? They want to criminalize everything black and brown people are doing, including art and graffiti and hip-hop. They want to criminalize all of that. They want to arrest us for marijuana, but you killing us on camera and you still getting a pension. Right? Come on now. And then they want to tell us the solution is body cameras, but then the body cameras fall off accidentally. Then they want to tell us the solution is black and brown cops. I'm from the South Bronx. I fear black and brown cops sometimes more than white cops. All right? Let's be real. And I'm not talking about this from an academic-only perspective. Yeah, I'm getting my PhD. But I got a husband who's formerly incarcerated. And this is generationally mass incarceration, racial profiling, and what they really want to do is surveil us and contain us. They want to contain us because there's no jobs in this country. They don't know what to do with all this extra labor force, right? So that's when we got to talk about systems. And this is a system of white supremacy, patriarchy, and capitalism. You know why? Because police, mass incarceration, criminalization, the new Jim Crow, that makes money. But peace and justice doesn't make $1. Right? Right? We gotta be very real. We live in the most hyper-violent country in America. You're telling me in Newtown, an hour and a half away, someone can get an AR-15 and mass slaughter babies? You talking about what happened at the Pulse nightclub? A mass slaughter of mostly queer, Boricua, and other Latinx, young black and brown people who were celebrating life? Then you want to tell young people not to be violent in return. All this country teaches is violence. Every image is violence. And then you want to militarize. That lone shooter in Dallas, what the media really doesn't want to talk about is the dude was an Army veteran for 4 years. He served in Afghanistan. America is creating killing machines right now, and they're coming back home and killing people. Right? So I know what's going to happen when I start to wrap up. I know what the media is going to say, and the rhetoric, and the tone. Every 28 hours in this country, an African American man, woman, or child, Latino man, woman, or child is being killed by the state. So young people, when the next thing they tell you is, what about black on black crime? You tell them this. You tell them this. Police are paid to protect and serve. You tell them this: when's the last time a police officer was held accountable? And then count how many of your homies on your block are incarcerated because they were smoking weed. Tell them that. Ask your mayor, how come you keep funding a system that's failing and not funding what the people need? How come half of us have to work 2 to 3 jobs to pay our rent? And then because I'm in Springfield as an Afro-Boricua, you see what's happening right now in Puerto Rico? There is revolution coming, y'all. It's right there. And Puerto Rico right now is suffering the effects of colonialism and imperialism. And you know what's going to happen? More Boricuas are going to have to come, and we're going to have to support our families and bring them in. And you know what's going to happen? The police are going to have to contain our communities more. The same conditions they created. The same conditions they created. This year alone, 574 people have been killed by the police. And for the news media here, you can look that up and research it on the Guardian newspaper. This week alone, last week, while we heard about the murders, because we seen that sister live streaming, the death of her loved one, in the tradition of what Mamie Till did when she said, no, publish the picture of my son, Emmett Till. I want the world to know. What we forget a lot of times in talking about this is that as many African American sisters, increasing number of Latina sisters, an unconscionable number of queer black women are also losing their lives at the hands of the state. And we're lucky she live streamed it, because I have no doubt if she didn't, he would have killed that 4-year-old little girl, and he would have killed her too. Because what did the police do after? They arrested her. And when you watch the video, it's a 4-year-old comforting her mother saying, it's okay, daddy's gone, mama, everything's gonna be all right. So when we talk about Sandra Bland, Renisha McBride, Ayanna Jones, Tamia Rice, but the sisters, we say their names too. We say their names too. Last week, while we saw the most egregious forms play out on TV for mass consumption, Pedro Villanueva, Vincent Ramos, Raul Vargas, Melissa Ventura, who called because her man was beating her and she had a knife to protect her, and the Yuma, Arizona police came and shot her in front of her baby. And Anthony Nunes. 5 Latinos were killed in the same week. And why don't they want us to know that? Why don't they want us to know that this is black and brown? Why do people want to act like race doesn't matter? I know many white people in this country that are pretty clear race matters and are on the side of freedom and justice. So don't let the people that look like me and you, don't let President Obama, you know what, President Obama, you want to go visit Dallas? You should. And you should go to Baton Rouge, and you should go to Minnesota, and you should go to New York City, and you should go to Atlanta, Georgia, and you should go to Baltimore, and you should go to Ferguson. Because August 9, 2014 changed something for young people. As we wrap up, I want to bring up my daughter. 2 years ago when Mike Brown was murdered, who put their bodies on their line? I spent 2 years, instead of writing my dissertation, on the ground organizing, because I know this is a historical moment. I'm not trying to read about it in a book. I'm trying to be part of history. Part of the sisters. Right? Mike Brown laid there for 6 hours, and not a new civil rights movement started. A new resistance in young people sprung up that day. And those groups on the ground, Organization for Black Struggle, Hands Up United, Lost Voices, Millennial United, young, homeless, mostly women, mostly queer folks, put their bodies in front of tanks. And you know what the first international messages of solidarity, where they came from? From Palestine. Where people were saying, we know what an occupying force feels like. From people in Puerto Rico saying, we know something and then the vulture funds come and try to take it away from you? That's where this started. So as a Black Lives Matter organizer, look, I am never going to stop repping Black Lives Matter. I don't care what this media says. And today, we got people on the media calling us the domestic ISIS. You calling us terrorists. You calling us terrorists? You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to criminalize us even speaking up. So young people, if you think this doesn't affect you, it doesn't even matter if you like Black Lives Matter or not. It don't matter if you want to vote for Trump or not. Look at what is happening. And be very, very clear that at this moment, everyone must step up. We must break the chains that divide Black and brown. We must understand that we are not begging for our freedom and for justice. We are going to take it. We are going to demand it. We are going to organize for it. We are going to fight for it. We're not getting out these streets. You want us off the streets? Then stop killing us. That is our demand. Stop killing us. That is our demand. Ready, Alicia? So, to all my people who are Black Lives Matter organizers and chapters, we need to stay safe. We need to protect ourselves. And organizing does that. But let me tell you right now, there's over 100 cities right now rising up. There's been thousands of people arrested. Intergenerational, multiracial. But Black and brown bodies are always on those front lines. And you got to be part of it. Like I said, you don't want to open up a book and then have to tell your kid why you didn't stand up. You don't want to be that person. So, I bring my daughter. My daughter's been in the streets because they killed 7-year-olds like Aiyana Jones and 12-year-olds like Tamir Rice. And she's going to have to be in these streets. So as parents, when people go, I want to shield my kid, you ain't shielding your kid from anything. When you're not talking to them about this, you're setting them up. That's what you're doing. My daughter knows she is Afro-Boricua, Black, Puerto Rican strong. She knows what to do if she's stopped by the police. She knows what to do if she's stopped by the police. I didn't think in my lifetime where all we fought is something I would have to teach her. But I would be doing a disservice to her and her friends if I did not protect her. And she's a warrior. And that's what we need right now. So, we're going to close it out. I want to leave you with one quote, though. The ghost of Harriet Tubman is still organizing. Right now, she's whispering in your ear, can't stop now moving, baby. We ain't out the woods yet. We can't stop moving. We ain't out the woods yet. So, let Alicia do a chant before we bring on Jill Stein. So, here's my 1-minute spiel on electoral politics. I'm not a Democrat. I ain't voting for a neoliberal like Hillary Clinton who called Black people super predators and supports the promesa bill in Puerto Rico. And I'm certainly, I know, it's alright. And I'm certainly not voting for a fascist, misogynist, racist, xenophobe like Donald Trump. Of course. But for young people who don't even want to vote, I'm not even mad at you. Part of me doesn't want to vote either. But I actually have a choice. And my choice is the Green Party. And in 2008, when I took that vice presidential nomination with Cynthia McKinney, it was one of the proudest moments of my life. First Puerto Rican to run for vice president in the history of the United States. First woman of color ticket. And then in 2012, we cast our vote right here in Massachusetts for Jill Stein. And for 2016, I am repping not just Jill Stein, but I'm repping an electoral political party that says what it means and does what it means. That says what it means and does what it means. So if you're gonna vote, vote your principles and your conscience. You don't vote out of fear. Some of you will, and I understand. But hey, the Democrats are, how we say in New York City, they're the local to hell. They're the local number 6 to hell, and Donald Trump's the express. But either way, I ain't trying to go to hell. So I'm gonna let Alicia close it out.
Peace, peace, everybody. Okay. So, before I start the chant, I just want to say, if you guys ever heard, there's beauty in the struggle. If you look behind you, that's the struggle. Here's the beauty. I see every one of you guys. No, I see every one of you guys. I see every one of you guys. And I know how hard you want this to stop. I know how hard you want it to stop. But let me tell you, we ain't gonna stop until we get what we want. What will these police officers understand? That we ain't gonna stop until we get what we want. Now, when I was in LA, there's this beautiful chant that I knew, and it goes, I believe that we will win. 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 I believe that we will win.
And then let's bring up the person that I'm voting for President of the United States. All right? Get it. You kind of deregister for the Democrats and go to the party. I know some of y'all upset about Bernie Sanders, but you know what? Bernie Sanders took all his ideas for the Green Party, and we have a candidate that can make that happen. It's my honor to introduce the person that many of us will be voting for come this November, Dr. Jill Stein.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is an honor. It is such an honor to be here. It's an honor to be following in the footsteps of Rosa Clemente and her daughter, who are charting the course for all of us. And Rosa and Cynthia raised the bar for all of us, especially those who are running for office, to really stand up for what it is that we the people need, what we the people deserve, and what we the people will get. We will not take no for an answer. We need nothing less than an America and a world that works for all of us. If it doesn't work for all of us, it doesn't work for any of us. We are on one small boat here. And in this last week, we have seen so up close and personal what it means to have a world under the stranglehold of racism and violence and white supremacy. That is what we saw playing out here in this last week. The incredible stories that we saw face to face of Anton Sterling's murder and Philando Castile, and the incredible bravery of Diamond Reynolds, his girlfriend and her daughter, who narrated exactly what it is like to be murdered by police. And I think America right now is in a moment of shock and horror, and in this moment of incredible despair, we have a moment here, I think, to stop and say this can't go on. Because it was not only them, it was the long line that Rosa named some of those names. Everyone from Freddie Gray and Michael Brown and Tamir Rice and Ramarley Graham and Eric Garner and is safe. While black lives are endangered, everyone is endangered. We must ensure Black Lives Matter. And that's not only by putting an end to police violence. And as Rosa said, it's not rocket science how to do this. There are things we can do right now. So let me just say a quick word about that, so we don't suffer from this illusion that we can't fix this. Instead of having police control our communities, communities need to control our police. We need police review boards who have the power to hire and to fire if those departments are not respecting black lives. And we need investigators full-time so that every case, every death at the hands of police is investigated. We don't need to wait for a miracle from the Department of Justice in order to investigate every murder, every death in police custody. And we can actually go beyond that. You may know there are, or you may not know because nobody talks about it. There are many countries around the world where police do not carry guns. Imagine disarming our police. We need gun control because so many people are victims of that crossfire. But that gun control is not just for everyday people in the neighborhoods. We must apply gun control to the police forces that are occupying our neighborhoods as well. That's not only good for communities. It turns out that the police are actually much safer when they are not carrying guns, because so much of the death and the bloodshed is a result of fear. And it's fear on both sides. It's fear of people walking down the street who are carrying their guns. How much good did that gun do for Philando Castile, who was carrying a gun? It didn't do him any good, and that's usually the case. Having a gun in your home, it turns out, it's 22 more times likely, 22 times more likely to injure or kill a member of your household than it is to help you defend against an intruder. So this doesn't make us safer. And it turns out it doesn't make the police safer either to be carrying guns. And we know this from many studies. Many countries in the United Kingdom, for example, even after the big terrorist events they had a couple of years ago, they are not carrying guns, and they do not want to carry guns because they know it makes them a target. In the country of Australia, police got rid of guns in some of their districts, not all of their districts, and it turns out where they got rid of the guns, there is far less violence, and the police are also safer, and people are safer. We can not only demilitarize our police, we need to address the fundamental problem of racism in our society for once and for all. So that Black Lives Matter, not only to be protected from police violence, but to be protected from economic violence, and from the school-to-prison pipeline violence, and housing violence when your community is being gentrified. 7 years taken off of your life. That is not okay. By going to a school system that is being privatized and destroyed, you not only have your economic future taken away, but you also have another 7 years taken off of your life. This is not okay. We need to stop funding the wars for oil that are making us less safe, not more safe. And the minute we do that, do you know how much every American household has paid for these wars, so-called wars on terror that create more terror? We have paid an average. You won't believe this. So like, hold on to your hat here if you're wearing a hat. Every American family on average, by the time we have paid for the health care of our wounded veterans, which we must take care of, that's the least we can do for them, and make sure they have jobs and housing, by the way. By the time we have paid for their health care, it will cost every American family an average of $75,000 to pay for these wars. Can you imagine something else you could do with $75,000? Like schools, like a college education, like health care, like housing, all of that we can have. We are calling for making sure that Black Lives Matter by stopping the bombing of black and brown people all over this world. Black lives matter in this country, and they matter in every country. We cannot have a world that works for America unless this world works for all of us. And I just want to assure you that what you are doing is absolutely critical, absolutely inspired, absolutely visionary. I want to especially give a shout out for the people who organized this amazing gathering in 3 days. Darlene Elias, Bishop Talbot Swan, Bishop Swan, Nelson Roman, if he is still here. Nelson, where are you? Thank you, Nelson. And so many others who organized this gathering. I want to assure you, the politicians tell us all the time that we just can't do this, that it's just too complicated. We cannot make sure that Black Lives Matter. We can't make sure that everyone has a job. Everyone deserves a job, not just a living wage job, but an actual living wage job, not just the promise of living wages. Everyone deserves not just living wages, but a job with living wages. We are declaring an emergency for our economy, an emergency for our environment, because there's a thing out there called environmental racism, and it hurts people of color more than anyone who are on the front lines. And we deserve health care as a human right for everyone. And we deserve higher education, which is free, zero cost, and we deserve a bailout for all those people who are still carrying student debt. We bailed out the friggin' bankers. If we bailed out the bankers who crashed the economy, it's time to bail out the young people who are the victims of that economy. I want to just assure you, we can do this. We can have an America and a world that works for all of us. We have the power. Don't let them for a minute tell you we don't. As Alice Walker said, the biggest way people give up power is by not knowing we have it to start with. We have it. We're going to use it. The number of young people who are holding student debt 23 million people. That alone is enough to win a presidential election. That is a three-way race. So by getting that word out to everyone who's holding student debt, we can be assured that we can cancel that debt. We can start over with an America and a world that works for all of us, that puts an end to racist violence, that creates a truth and reconciliation commission to get down to the living legacy of the criminal institution of slavery and putting it to an end for once and for all. And we can ensure we have the jobs and the schools, the housing and the health care we deserve. So we say, forget the lesser evil, fight for the greater good, like our lives depend on it. Black lives depend on it. Black lives are the greater good. Together, we can create that world that works for all of us. Thank you so much for leading the way. Let's stick together. Stand up together. We will change this world together. Black lives matter.
One more time, give it up. That's a presidential candidate right there. So before we march the streets of Springfield, coming up we have the president of the local NAACP chapter, 4th generation member of the Church of God in Christ, and pastor of Spring Hope Church of God, known and prominent leader of the Springfield black community and fighter of injustice and police brutality. I am honored to bring to the stage my frat brother, Bishop Thomas Swan.
Good evening. It is wonderful to see so many of you here on this evening from many different backgrounds, ethnicities, but we all have come together to say enough is enough. It is the same story, but a different day. And that story involves black freedom. We have to be candid about the fact that in America there is a resistance to black freedom. From the days of slavery to the days of the new Jim Crow, mass incarceration and imprisonment, the problem is black freedom. But we have come to tell you today that we intend to be free. I heard Don Lemon the other day, and Don kind of got under my skin a little bit, because somebody said that Philando Castile happened to be black at the wrong place at the wrong time. I came to tell you that as a free black man, there is no wrong place for me to be, and there is no wrong time for me to be there. We intend to stand up and speak loudly and boldly and declare to the nation and to the world that black lives do matter. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if you don't believe they do, before it's all over, we're going to show you that they do. You noticed on the media, almost immediately after Mr. Sterling was murdered.
Yes, sir.
And yes, I said it.
Yes, sir.
Murdered.
Murdered.
After he was murdered, they began to talk about his background. Isn't it interesting how black victims get treated worse than white criminals? How is it that when a Trayvon Martin or another African-American male is the victim of a crime, can find. Plaster it throughout the media. But yet, when you have young white boys who rape, maim, and shoot and kill folk, they go and get their prom pictures and put them on television. There's a problem when you victimize, or rather you try to criminalize the victim. But here's the thing, because you've been leaning and dependent on this whole criminalizing the victim so that you can make an excuse as to why they deserved what they got. But here you have Mr. Castile, who had no criminal record.
Come on, talk to him.
He didn't have a parking ticket. He had a license to carry a firearm. Here is a man that was obeying the law, obeying a lawful order of the police officer by reaching for his license and registration, and was still murdered, shot 4 times at point blank range. You've got to erase the whole issue of whether or not someone was a criminal, because the common denominator happens to be the fact that they are black and brown people. Let's make no mistake about that. It's not about whether you're college educated. It's not about what neighborhood you live in. It's not about your socioeconomic status. It is about the tone of your skin. It is about your race and your ethnicity. And let's make no mistake, we have never, ever entered a post-racial America. Let me say something to all of y'all who keep getting upset about hashtag Black Lives Matter. Let me help you here. You know, when you decide you want to switch it out with all lives matter, that's all we were saying to you in the first place when we told you that Black Lives Matter. No one was ever confused with whether or not you thought white lives matter. We knew you thought white lives matter when you got here and you tried to wipe out all of the Native Americans. We knew you thought white lives matter. We understand that you think white lives matter when you go across the world, across the entire globe, and wipe out people who stand in opposition to your interests. We understand that you think white lives matter. We know you think white lives matter when you bomb Iraq in a so-called preemptive strike, looking for weapons that never existed in the first place, so you can control their oil and their money and give Dick Cheney and Halliburton a $9 billion no-bid contract. We understand that you think that white lives matter. But here's my question. How come you never said all lives matter until we said lives matter? I know there's some reporters out there, they're going to write about this, and I know they're going to get on MassLive, and they're going to say, there goes that Bishop Swan playing that race card again. Well, here's what I have to say about your proverbial race card. You made up the game. You produced the deck. You put the race card in the deck. You've been playing the race card ever since you got here. And now you want to stop me from playing the card that you built America on and have been playing ever since you got here. stop profiling black and brown people. I'm going to stop playing the race card when we stop getting pulled over for driving while black and walking while black and eating while black and breathing while black and dancing while black and living while black and just being black. Now, I wrote a piece the other day. A lot of folks got upset with me, and I know some of y'all might be here in the crowd. You might be a little mad with me. You got upset with me? I know Betty got upset with me. I wrote a piece that talked about the snitching ethos and a call to accountability. And I challenged the African American community to get rid of this dastardly stop snitching ethos. In other words, stop protecting the criminals that live in our own neighborhoods. But here's the thing. It becomes difficult for us to call our community to accountability when you won't call the crooked cops that you work with every single day into accountability. Now, I know that we throw out a disclaimer and a qualifier whenever we get ready to criticize the police. And we say that we know that 98% of cops are good cops. I don't know who did those statistics. I don't know what scientific study they're referring to when they roll off those statistics about what percentage are good cops. I have no doubt in my mind that there are good police officers. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about that fact. But here's my thing. A silent cop is not a good cop. A police officer that knows about the corruption that's happening in your police force and your boys are doing day after day, and you say nothing and you do nothing about it. I don't care if you're guilty or not. You are not a good cop. So you can't say, well, Reverend, why don't you tell the community to cooperate with us when it comes to catching the criminals? Why don't you cooperate with us when it comes to catching the criminals that you work with every day? I got a call from the mayor's office Friday. I was out of town. And he asked us to come and stand with him in solidarity after the 5 police officers were murdered in Dallas. And had I been in town, I would have come. I would have come to City Hall. And I would have stood with Mayor Sarno and Commissioner Barbieri, the police officers, in solidarity and condemned the action regarding the brutal murder of those police officers. My heart goes out to their families and their loved ones. I would have come. Many of you, had you known about it, you would have come. But here's my question. Here's my question. Why do you call for us to come and stand shoulder to shoulder with you in solidarity when it comes to the loss of life of those who dress in blue and adorn the badge? But when we come here and stand in solidarity, in empathy for the family of Mr. Sterling and Mr. Castile and the thousands of others whose lives have been taken across America, where are you when it comes to standing in solidarity with us? If there are good cops, where they at? up because we cannot. Here's my message to you, my sisters and my brothers. Oftentimes we come together in forums like this because we've got to vent. We've got to get this off our chest. We've got to get it out. We're traumatized and we're brutalized, and we've got to talk about what's happening in our community. But we can't allow this moment to slip away from us without it turning into a movement. Someone once said the difference between a moment and a movement is sacrifice.
Yes.
And are you willing to sacrifice your time and your effort and your money beyond this moment? I know you got some nice pictures that you're going to post on Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. But you cannot be just a social media activist. This has got to go beyond Facebook. This has got to go beyond Snapchat and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest. It's got to be sustained effort to bring about systemic change. And so we need a police department that is willing to make some changes. We need an intense, detailed, psychological evaluation for everybody who wants to be a police officer. The reason why we've got so many problems is we've got so many wannabe Rambo, trigger-happy folks who are psychologically stable, putting on a badge and a uniform. What did you think when you made Biff a cop? I went over some of the young folk here. Y'all didn't watch that movie. We need detailed psychological value. We need change in the police department. We need to sit down with collective bargaining. We need cameras on the cruisers. We need body cameras. We need police who are willing to live in the community where they're police. This can't just be a 9-to-5 job where you go into Springfield, crack some folk upside the head, and then go back to Long Meadow, East Long Meadow, we need real civilian review of the police. I've said it over and over again. We don't need this paper tiger, Mickey Mouse, smoking mirror, civilian review board that just sits around and makes recommendations to the commissioner. We need a real civilian review board that has statutory authority and can hire, fire, promote, and do it. And we need real criminal justice reform. Criminal justice reform to where black men guilty of committing the same crime as his white counterpart doesn't spend more time in prison. Criminal justice reform so black men are not 20 times more likely to be profiled, arrested, and sentenced for the same crime as their white counterpart. My sisters and my brothers, we've got to stay together. We've got to raise up our voices. We've got to flood City Hall. We've got to flood the police department. We've got to flood the school department. We've got to show up everywhere where our lives are endangered. And we've got to speak loudly and clearly that Black Lives Matter then, they matter today, they So,
proven innocent, like everybody
my
else.
sisters and my brothers,
From jail.
let's band together.
Yeah, that's how you got
We're going to march to the federal courthouse. We're going to speak loudly. We're going to raise our voice in Springfield. We're going to lift up our voice like a trumpet. We're going to speak with one voice, and we're going to say that Black Lives Matter, and there will be change.
I know that's right. You got some more gum, officer? Yeah. All right, ask him if I can have a piece of gum. Excuse me, sir. You got some more government gum? Right. How you doing, family?
Anybody here? Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. You're doing it wrong here. No, definitely wrong. You're definitely wrong. Like that. You got it. All right. All right. All right, all right, all right. Can you put that ole on again? I like that. That ole. Ole, ole, ole.
All right, these are the instructions, right? All the young people are in the front because the youth are the future, right? They're the ones who are going to hold us up in the future. All of the adults are in the back, okay? All the adults and the leaders, because we're going to uplift our young people. We're going to travel. These are the instructions. We're going to the corner here of Main Street. We're going to take a right. We're going to go up to the federal courthouse, and then we're going to turn around and come back. And we're going to be walking the street. We're going to shut it down, okay? However, what we do ask is that everybody stay to the left-hand side, okay? So we're going to stay to the left-hand side. We don't want nobody rushing. Take your time like you own these streets, okay?